I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. Let's press on to page 9 of the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory workbook, and we look at exercise 11, where we get further opportunity to look at grouping and beaming notes. And the simple rule, generally speaking, is that we group to show the start of each new beat. There are a few exceptions that we've covered along the way, and we'll discuss those as they crop up. But basically, each new beat requires a new beam so that a performer can easily see where each new beat starts. And so only one of these options is correct. Let's look at them all in turn. We should have 3 crotchet beats, and we need to see each crotchet beat. And so here we have, let's just divide this up. So here we have a quaver, which is half of a crotchet beat. And then half of that is a quarter of a beat. And so we have a quarter of a beat left, which would be filled by these 2 demisemiquavers. So that is beat 1. And so that beam should not continue. And we know that 4 semiquavers equals a crotchet. They should be beamed separately. So that's not correct. Now here again, we've got that break showing the semiquavers, but they should be beamed together to show beat 1. And so this is the only correct answer. There's beat 1, there's beat 2, there's beat 3. So perhaps now you can try the remaining couple on your own. Let's check them through together. I'm hoping you've had a go of that. It's really important to just be brave and have a go. It's okay if you go wrong, and I know that I always say this. However, I am really convinced of how important it is to learn by your mistakes. Always work in pencil, and then you can just erase it out and have another go. Don't be sidetracked by the fact that there are triplet signs, because that just literally means 3 quavers in the time of 2. And so there's a crotchet beat. So there's beat 1, there's beat 2. Now here we know that 4 demisemis is a quaver, 2 semis is a quaver, so all of that is beat 3, and there's beat 4. So actually that's correct straight away. Let's look at why these aren't correct. Here's beat 1, here's beat 2, and then we've got just this random semiquaver beat on its own, and then we've got like a semiquaver. We've got 3 semiquavers here. They've suddenly split this group here, whereas they should be all joined together. We can't see where beat 3 begins and falls, and we look like we've got an extra beat. It just shows how important it is to beam things correctly. And then again here, we've broken these up into completely strange divisions. So we've got like a semiquaver on its own, a semiquaver on its own, a quaver on its own. All of those should be beamed together. We need to see that's beat 3. Now here we have 3 minim beats per bar. And at first you think, well, this looks okay because there's beat 1, there's beat 2, there's beat 3. They've not beamed over, so that seems okay. However, this is not right in that we can avoid using the tie and we can have a dot instead, so that's no good. Here we can see that's much simpler to read, much less kind of fussy. Sometimes you have to use a tie, but if not, don't. Beat 1, beat 2, so it's not beamed over. Beat 3, that's correct. Here we can see this isn't correct because there's beat 1, there's beat 2, and they've beamed over, joining beats 2 and 3, so that's not correct. And if we move on to exercise 12, the principle is exactly the same when it comes to rests. We need to show each new beat with a new rest. We can't just randomly fill a chunk of time. We've got to show where each new beat falls, apart from the odd exception where it's the same as beaming notes. So we need to show which is correct and which is incorrect. So we should have 4 crotchet beats per bar. There's beat 1. And then that's the start of beat 2, that's the remainder of beat 2, because half of a crotchet is a quaver and there's a quaver rest, so there's beat 2. Now here we have beats 3 and 4, and they are beamed correctly because we've not gone over the halfway. We can actually beam 4 quavers together, that's correct. This is incorrect because we've gone over from beat 1, 2, 3, 4. We've gone over the halfway part here. We should have beat 1, beat 2, beat 3. You could have done that in the second half of the bar, but not over the middle of a bar of 4/4. We first came across that in grade 1 actually. So a bit of revision there. Now here, what have we got? We've got a 1 beat. Now we know that a crotchet beat divides into 4 quarters, which is 4 semiquavers. We've got 1, 2, 3. This should be a semiquaver rest, and they've put a demisemiquaver rest. So actually, that's not quite big enough. That's not the correct rest at all. Moving on now, we have 3 quaver beats per bar. There's beat 1. Quaver beat rest is beat 2, beat 3. That's correct. And then here's beat 1, and then a semiquaver and a semiquaver note is beat 2, beat 3, that's correct. So we're looking at the rest here. They could have actually just beamed those together and have the rest. You could have had that actually. However, we're concerning ourselves with the rest, and sometimes composers will sometimes beam things in a way that seems more sensible to them, where we're dealing with this whole bar beaming. However, pressing on. Now here, that looks like it's correct because that's a 1, 2, 3 quaver beat, but when it's a full beat, a full bar silence, we use a semi-breve rest. Even though technically that's too big for this time signature, that's kind of just the shortcut rest for a complete bar silence regardless of the time signature. Just at a glance, complete bars rest. So that's incorrect. And now we have 2 crotchet beats per bar. And so this looks like it's going to fill the time correctly. However, we need to show the start of beat 1 and then the start of beat 2. So what we should have, is the end of beat 1. So there's the start of beat 1, that completes beat 1. That's the start of beat 2, that completes beat 2. We need to show each new beat. That won't do, so that's incorrect. Now here we've got, if we think a crotchet beat, a quaver is half of a beat. There's 3/4 of a beat with the dot. We've got a quarter of a beat left. We should have a semiquaver rest. That's too small. That's a demisemi rest, so that won't do. We have to have a tie here. We can't put a dot over a bar line. You have to tie over a bar line. There's beat 1. There's beat 2. That's correct. And now finally, we should have 4 minim beats per bar. So here is 1, 2, beats 1, beat 2, that's beat 3, that's beat 4. There's no need to split that. That can just be a minim beats rest, so that's unnecessarily fussy. We could just show 1 minim beats rest. There's beat 1, there's beat 2, that's beat 3, that's beat 4, so that's correct. And then that's beat 1, that's beat 2, that's beat 3. Don't get caught out, sneaky red herring, that's a semi-breve rest. We need a minim rest sitting on the line. That's a 4 crotchet beats, a semi-breve rest. And I always remember that's hanging from the 4th line and it's 4 crotchet beats. The minim rest just sits on the middle for a couple of beats, as it were, crotchet beats. That's the minim rest. So that's incorrect. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.